Hi guys, welcome to my powder room. This video is my April favorites. I thought long and hard about which products would make it into my April favorites video, and I'm pretty sure I have it narrowed down. So let's just get started. Okay, the first thing is an eyeshadow palette. It's not the most interesting, but it's my favorite that I have found to have on hand, and that is the Tartelette. And it mainly because, it is a palette full of matte shades, and even when I'm using my other palettes that are more maybe interesting, I have found that I constantly am going to this palette to pick up like one or two of the colors. And for that reason, it makes my favorites. I think that it is kind of like one of those must-haves. Unless you have another great palette that is full of matte colors, this is the only one that I have that is strictly matte. So, it's my favorite. The next thing would be this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. And the reason is because it is a setting powder. Well, I use it as a setting powder, actually. And I have been looking for a powder that has a luminosity to it so it doesn't like mattify my face once I put it on there, because I like luminosity as a finish. But a lot of times whenever you do that, you are emphasizing your blemishes. Like anytime I add a shimmer to my face, like I have like little bitty bumps and they're teeny tiny, but whenever I would put on like a shimmering powder or a shimmering bronzer, they just look like huge bumps. So this doesn't do that. This actually sets my makeup. It locks it in place. It gives a beautiful luminosity that's very subtle but definitely present, and then it doesn't emphasize my blemishes. So that's why it made the favorites. And then the next thing would be, talking about those little bumps, would be this Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. It has been amazing for me. Now, I go ahead and use an all-over primer, like the typical liquidy primers that we're all used to, and then I put this on. And it's kind of like a mousse, almost, like a very, yeah, I think mousse would be the best way to describe it on film. But when you put it on, you just smooth. It's like, it's almost like if you think of a crack in plaster or bumps on plaster walls or like on dry walls, and you think about getting putty or liquid plaster, and you kind of just fill in all of the cracks or the unevenness or whatever, and you just create like a smooth, even surface. That's exactly what this is going to do for your face. And now that I've kind of, like when I first got it, I just pressed it into pores, and then I was like, well, okay, I've got this little breakout right here, so I'll put it in that area, and I was like, wow, that works great. And then I was like, okay, that's it, I'm going all over. So I do, from here down, I just put it all over anytime I do my makeup, every single time now. So I'm in love with this stuff. And then the next is also by Tarte, and it is the Amazon Clay Waterproof Brow Mousse. I've always had trouble finding like good brow products because my eyebrows are very thin, and so I kind of need to sculpt them out. And this actually came with the brush, and Tarte brushes are, relatively expensive. So just that it came with this was pretty awesome. You apply with this side, and then you've got your little spoolie to shape and sculpt. But it's just, this tiny little thing is going to last me forever, and I just think it's amazing. It really is like 24-hour wear, and it really is waterproof. It's just awesome product, and I get the color rich brown. And that was another thing, like I always had trouble finding a brown that was dark enough for me because my hair pretty much is black, but I can't use like black eyeliner on my eyebrows, so I really like that this is dark enough to where it matches with my hair color without being like literal black. So that's pretty awesome. And then what I do like to be super black is this, and this is the Perversion Super Saturated Ultra Intense Waterproof Cream Eyeliner by Urban Decay. And then you can get this brush to go with it. It's sold separately, it's optional, but even just any good like eyeshadow brush that's angled, that's also kind of stiff, would work great. But it's it's not as dense as the eyebrow mousse, so it definitely has more play with it. I mean, you could really get in there and build up the color if you wanted to. But I just love that it goes on so creamy. I mean, it is a cream, so it does. It really goes on like creamy smooth, and you can control how thick or thin you want your lines. I love like how easily you can build wings with it. I mean, it's just so great. And then what I do for the bottom actually is I use the brush and I just kind of like do little dabs, and then I get like a smudge brush and then kind of blend that all in together. But then for the top, I like just draw it on, like pretend that it's eyeshadow. And I always was kind of like afraid of cream or gel or liquid liners for the longest time. I just stuck to crayon ones or the kind that you would sharpen. I mean, I was just so intimidated. But this is, I have found a few products that have kind of eased that intimidation, and this is one of them. I mean, I felt like I was a pro with this like the second time I used it. So if you're afraid of cream liners, this is a great one to go for, guys. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. And then I just have one more favorite, and you guys have heard me talk about this quite a bit, but it is the Better Than Sex Too Faced Mascara. I have several different mascaras that I'm currently using, and some of them are quite expensive. And this was relatively inexpensive in comparison to the others. And I just like wish that I keep like 6 mascara little pods on my makeup thing filled up at a time with mascaras, and like I really just wish that they were all filled with this now. And I did have to buy a backup here recently just because I'm like, I cannot run out of this stuff. It has like fibers in it, and you can build and build all day long with this. You are not going to start getting clumps. And if you do, you just take like and I mean, every once in a while it'll kind of clump up in like a certain spot, and then I just get a little mascara comb and an eyelash comb and just comb it right out, and it's fine. And I just keep building. It's just the formula in this is so amazing and easy to work with. And it's almost like, I don't want to say foolproof because it can get messy. Okay, that's the only downside that I've like really found of this. But oh my gosh, it's worth it. Like whenever I get little dots or whatever on my eyelid, like I just wipe it off, put the shadow back on over it, and we're good to go. To me, that is so worth just the length, the volume, and how workable this is. So worth it. So definitely makes my favorites. And yeah, that's it, guys. Like I have a lot of products that I really love, but these that I have shown you are the products that I cannot imagine living without from this point on. Like there's no way I will not constantly keep repurchasing them. I will be really surprised if I find products that replace them. I always am open to finding more products that I love, but I just, along the way, just kind of find those holy grails, and these are my holy grails of April. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have several more videos that I'm working on to get up for you guys this week, as promised. And until then, bye guys.